You know, the death of self, guys. I'm guessing everybody knows that. Part of this death of self, you know, it's not just dead to your flesh, right? I mean, that's what you're trying to do right now. You're trying to kill a part of your flesh. So you have addiction, some substance, some abuse, something or other, man, that has a grip on you, that your body wants, that your body desires. Yes, okay. And you're trying to put that to death. You're trying to overcome that. You're trying to overcome that part of you. And brothers, what I'm here to tell you, that's still of this world. Yes. That's not the part of you that you've got to put to death. Yeah. It's something much deeper than that. Yeah. The part of you that you've got to put to death, brothers, is your feelings. That's who you are. That's what you are. That's how you're in God's image. Yeah? You are a being of emotion. Yes. And until you overcome that, how are you going to die to self? I mean, what is self? Think about that. What is self? Is it your body? Is that who you are? Is that what you are? No, brothers. No. You're much more than flesh and bone. Yeah? Much more than flesh and bone. This is dust of this earth. That's all it is. Yeah. To overcome self is who you are. What you are. What you feel. What you think. What you desire. Yes. This is what we must overcome. This is what we must die to. Because unless we die to this, we shall not be able to reconcile with God. Our will has to become His will. How is our will going to become His will unless we can put ourselves to death? How are we going to reconcile with those around us, especially those who wrong us, yes, if we can't die to self? Alright, man. But, you know, one of the things, absolutely, that it's going to take to be able to do that is love. Love. Whether you understand this or not, love is not just a noun. It's a verb, too. Yeah? And it's going to require some actions of you, man. Yeah? And these actions of you is the evidence of your love. How about that? Yeah, just saying. Example. Doing what God says to do is the proof or the evidence of your love for God. Let me ask you a question. If you say you love God or that you love Jesus Christ and you go around out here and you're shoplifting, you're stealing, you're hustling, you're lying, carried on, shacked up, sleeping around, doing all this other craziness, do you really love God? Are people looking at you as a holy person, as someone who loves God? Yeah, probably not. Just saying, it is what it is. Proof's in the pudding, isn't it? That's just speak out of the words. I mean, how many euphemisms do we need? Okay, man. Yeah, guys. It's going to require this death of self, man. You're going to have to desire it. You're going to have to want it more than anything else. I don't know about you, you know, but when I was shooting dope, that was all I wanted. I didn't want nothing else. I wanted whatever it took to get that, and I was going to do whatever it took to get that because that's what I wanted more than anything else. Alright. Isn't that how we live our lives? No matter what it is, I don't care what you put in that blank, that's exactly how we live our lives, isn't it? How bad do you want it? Brothers, I'm going to be honest with you. There's nothing that I want greater than to live in the presence of God, to behold His glory, man. Nothing. Then there's been a lot of things that I've wanted in my life, you know. And even now, I tell myself there are things that I need. Obviously, yeah, we live in this world, don't we? Yeah, okay. But God knows what I need. I would have never thought that I needed any of this stuff right here. I didn't grow up thinking, oh, you know what I want to do? Yeah, I'm going to go down and I'm going to hop up and down and act like a fool to a bunch of men on the waterfront. That's what I want to do in my life. Just saying. Yeah? Alright. How many of you grew up wanting to be where you're at right now? That was your lifelong goal and desire. Alright. Yeah, things happen, don't they? Right. Okay, brothers. Right now, the things that's happened to you has been a product of your desires for yourself. Yeah? Yeah. And what this could be for you is a transition. This could be a transition for you. From self to something else. Maybe some of you decided to stop using dope for a family member, spouse, children, I don't know, friend, loved one, some other person around you, something like that, you know? Or maybe you want to be a productive member of society. I don't know. Maybe you want to own a house. I don't know, man. There's all kinds of reasons people have. I'm just saying, yeah. But my question is it for God? Because, brothers, I'll be honest with you, coming from a man who did this for 12 years, until it's for God, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Oh, there's all kinds of people out there. I've seen them chair meetings, faking the funk. I'm just saying, yeah. Coming in and telling you about being sober and running down to the liquor store after the meeting's over. Yeah, I'm just saying, it happens. Brothers, unless it's for God, it ain't going to happen. You're going to be right back where you started. Yeah. Trying to hide it. Twice as ashamed as you was the first time. Just saying. Alright. Brothers, listen. Reconcile with other people. Let's look at a couple of scriptures that we went over. Just keep them fresh in our mind. Matthew 22, 35 through 40. And one of them asked Jesus, who was a lawyer, and asked him a question, keeping him, saying to him, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? And Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. All right. Loving God, loving our neighbors as ourselves. We learned that love for God was loving our neighbors and keeping God's commandments. Yes, both of these things. If a man did not love his neighbor, then he did not love God. You know, there's all kinds of people like that, aren't there? Say they got love for God but don't love their neighbor. Or how about this? This is pretty popular in the world right now too. People claim they got love for each other, but no love for God. Huh? Yeah. Which is evidenced by their ideology, isn't it? I'm just saying, okay, no love, brothers. One without the other, you have neither. Neither. I'm just saying. Not my word, not my thought, not my feeling. Yeah. But it is the truth that I've come to experience and understand. Yes. Not just my thoughts, brothers. It's an experience. You know, that's the beautiful thing about experience, isn't it? Can't nobody tell you you're wrong when you've experienced it, can they? Yeah. Alright. You know, don't you? Brothers, I'm telling you what I know. Yeah? Okay. One without the other, you have neither. Alright. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophet. Now, why would he say that? All the laws. Why would he say that? Remember, we have terms of a reconciliation, don't we? Don't nobody reconcile with you unless fill in the blank. First and foremost, you can't do whatever it was you've done to end the relationship, can you? No, you can't do that no more, can you? No. And secondly, there are some other things that they want from you, isn't there? I'm just saying. Yeah, okay, brothers, God has terms. Yeah. First and foremost, yeah, you need to love Him like He loves you. Secondly, you need to love your neighbor as yourself. Thirdly, you need to do everything that He says. The same. Yes, this is the reason why He says all of the law hangs on these two commandments. Because if any of you ever took the time to look up God's commandments, you'll see that each and every one of them go with one or two things. Your conduct towards God and your conduct towards your neighbor. Yeah, alright, it's time to learn what love is, brothers. It's time. It ain't what you think it is. Yeah? And for those of you who think you know what love is, all I gotta ask you is, how many of your relationships suffer? Yeah, alright, yeah, think about that. Okay, brothers, contrary to popular belief, love does not hurt. Love is good. Love is perfect. Yeah. Alright, I'm just saying. Let's look at one more here. Matthew 5:43 through 48. Ye have heard that it hath been said, Thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. That ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For He maketh His sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and the unjust. For if you love them which love you, what reward have you? Don't the sinners do the same? And if you salute your brethren only, why do ye more than others? Do not even the sinners do the same? Be ye therefore perfect, as your Father in heaven, which is perfect. You know, I went a long way the day that we gave this message, you know, this perfection. What this perfection was, first and foremost, that we could be perfect. Despite everybody going around saying, oh, I can't be perfect. Only Jesus can be perfect. Yeah, alright. And here's Jesus telling us that we must be perfect. You know, the problem is we don't know what perfection is. Right? Yeah, we look at our hands and the product of them and we think, this is perfection. Never doing wrong. Right? No. That's not perfection. What did he say? What did he say? Loving our enemies was perfection. Why? Because this love made you perfect. If you could have this love, then you could be perfect. Yeah. Oh man. Alright. Brothers, what I'm here to tell you today, is it's going to take this love to do what I'm going to teach you today. And without doing what I'm teaching you today, you're not going to make it. I will not see you on that day. Yeah? Alright. I'm going to, brothers, look, this is going to be very important, and you're going to walk away today with some understanding as to why. Yeah? It's not just my thought. Yeah? This is real talk, man. It's serious business. Yeah? Alright, listen. Matthew 5:23 through 24. Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there rememberest that thy brother has something against thee, leave there thy gift before the altar, and go thy way. First, be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. Man, what do you think about that? Before you come to the altar and offer your gift, why would you do that? Why would you come to an altar and offer a gift? That's something you did for God, wasn't it? Yeah, that's something you did for God. You came to the altar and you offered a gift, something that God was requiring of you, something that God was wanting of you. Yes. And what Jesus is telling us, that before we come to offer our gift to God, yes, we must first be reconciled to our brothers. That kind of goes back to loving our neighbor as ourselves, doesn't it? That without loving our neighbor, there's no way we can love God. If we can't love the man in front of us that we can see, how are we going to love God who we can't see? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. If you're not loving those people around you, what good is it going to come to you, do you to come to God? What's God going to tell you? God's going to tell you to go back to that man that you got this problem with. Go back to that man that you wronged. Yeah? And make it right with him. Then come talk to me. That's what he's telling us. Yes. You know, a lot of people don't realize that. And I just happen to know that there's some steps up there involved telling the same thing, isn't there? Yeah. Alright. I'm just saying. You think there's a reason for that? You think it's possible? Alright, brothers, listen. We are ready to submit to God. Obviously, we can't see God, can we? No. I mean, we can see God at work. You see that work down here every Sunday. Yeah, alright. But we can't see God. Yeah. We can't reach out to touch God either. Yeah. But those people around us, we can. You know, there's a lot of people who they don't serve God because of that reason, because they can't see God. Yeah, alright. And they don't see serving their neighbors as serving God. Yeah, alright. Brothers, I'm here to tell you today, that the way that you treat and what you do towards other people is what you do to God. It is. That certainly is. Or your lack thereof. Yeah, okay. Alright. First, go and be reconciled to that brother. You know, that's a hard thing to do sometimes, isn't it? Let me ask you this. What if it's not your fault? What if it's something that you didn't do? What if it's something he did to you? Alright. Listen. Matthew 5:25 through 26. You know, these are Jesus' commandments too, by the way. Yeah, if you notice that, these are actions that he is commanding us to. These are things that he's telling us to do. What was John chapter 14? What was love for Christ? Keeping his commandments and his sayings. Yeah. This is a dual-fold thing I'm teaching you today. Firstly, I'm going among all nations teaching the gospel. Yeah. Baptizing in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And teaching you all things that he has commanded us. Yes. Alright. Yeah. Furthermore, I'm also teaching you how to be reconciled to other people. And telling you that lest you be reconciled to other people, you will not be reconciled to God. Brothers, this is like, it's almost the root. It's almost the root of everything that we do, everything that we are as sons of God, which is what he's calling you to be. Listen. Agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Verily I say unto thee, thou shalt by no means come out until thou hast paid everything that you owed. You know, lots of people have problems agreeing with their enemies. You know? Yeah. I mean, he's your enemy, right? Why is he your enemy, firstly? That's the first question you've got to ask yourself. Is it something that you've done, or is it something that he's done? Yeah? Alright. Brothers, listen, we shouldn't be calling anybody our enemies. Calling people our enemies and looking at other people as our enemies does nothing to facilitate this love. In fact, it just makes it twice as hard, doesn't it? Because now you've got to overcome your thoughts of this individual being your enemy and not your brother. Yeah? Alright. Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it? Okay. Secondly, why would you agree with your enemy? Why would you do that? You know, most of the time, when we do something to other people, and they say, hey man, you know, when you do this, it bothered me. And you'd be like, no, I didn't do that. That's not what I did. No, I didn't do that. Yeah. So now you got no reason. You got no reason to apologize. You got no reason to make it right. You got no reason to do these things. Yeah. Pride is the biggest cause of that, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Brothers, you're having slow at pride. Yeah. Okay. All right. Agree with thy adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him. Meaning, while you are near him, don't let him get away from you. Agree with him quickly, before he brings you to the judge. And I'm going to go into that a little deeper just here in a minute. But I've got another scripture I want to talk. But I want you to hold on to that. Before he take you to the judge. Yeah, agree with him quickly. Listen. Matthew 18, 15 through 17. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as an unbeliever and a sinner. Man, I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but that is the process of reconciliation. Yeah, right there. The process of it. The actual steps that you need to take to reconcile with someone, especially someone that you wronged. Yeah, yeah. It's not something that we wait for other people to come to us and tell us that we wronged them. We should know when we wrong them. How are you going to know when you wrong somebody? They're going to react, aren't they? They're human beings just like you. They've got feelings just like you. They're going to react. You know, most of the time, I'm going to tell you what happens. Most of the time, when people react to what you've done, what do you do? Do you say, oh, I'm sorry? Or do you escalate? Yeah, alright. Yeah, most people escalate, brothers. Definitely. Happens around me all the time. All the time. Yeah, yeah. Because people don't want to be wrong. And people certainly don't want to be responsible for pain that they have caused other people. Wow. No love. No love. No love. No compassion. No empathy. I mean, there's something missing in the world today. Yeah? Oh, brothers, hey, this is a vampire. This is a vampire. It has sucked the life out of mankind. Yes. I'm just saying. Yeah. Alright. Beginning with a TV. Okay. Ain't that what that is? It's a two-way TV, isn't it? Isn't that what it is? Yeah. Let me not get straight here. So, Jesus says to go to that person that you wronged and ask them to reconcile with you. Alone, in private. And that if that person should hear you, God has gained that brother. Man, I'll be honest with you, that's a good feeling. Yeah, that's a real good feeling, man. You know what I'm saying? Why do you go to him in private, by yourself? Maybe it's easier for him to overcome pride. Maybe it'd be easier for you to overcome pride with nobody else around. Yeah? Yeah. Alright. You know, there's a lot to be said, you know, about not packing tails, not gossiping. Yeah? Yeah. Not going out and telling everybody everything and keeping it to yourself. Yeah? I'm just saying. Yeah. And you find that it's a whole lot easier to reconcile with people whom you haven't gone out and talked about like a dog. Yeah? Alright. And then try to come back and reconcile. I'm just saying. Okay. Alright, brothers. It's called prudence. That's what that's called. The Bible says that there's much wisdom in prudence. Yeah? You keeping it to yourself. Unless what? Unless you go to that individual and that individual refuses to reconcile with you. Refuses. Now I'm going to be honest with you. You know, this reconciliation is called, it's going to be a compromise, isn't it? That means it's not just going to be one-sided, is it? No. That means you're going to have to give a little to get a little, aren't you? Okay, brothers, let's not forget that when we go and try to reconcile with people. In private. Yes? Alright. But, if they don't hear you, what we do now? Now we get a couple witnesses to go with us. Why? Why would we do that? First and foremost, what kind of people would we take? You're going to take people who are not involved, who don't got no dog in that fight. Yeah. Why? Because what you need is an outside opinion. What you need is somebody on the outside looking in, someone who is not emotionally involved, if it's going to be settled. But it's like, hey, look, man, this is not an allies thing. This is not an ally thing. And I'm going to show you why as soon as you, just give me a minute. Yeah? This is not an allies thing. This is life and death, let's get this resolved kind of thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? We take someone who has no opinion, someone who has no emotion, someone who has no benefit at all whatsoever in this problem that we have with this guy. Do you understand? Yes. So that they can hear the exchange between us. Because it's entirely possible that we're blinded by our emotions. Because we are emotionally involved, don't we? And so is this individual. We are emotionally involved. When we become emotionally involved, we become blind. All you got to do is look around the world right now. Oh my God. Yeah. Look at all the people that are sucking into this chaos through their hearts because they're emotionally involved. Don't they? Blind. Can't see what they're doing. Don't care what they're doing. Brothers, don't be those people. Don't be like that. You can't allow yourself to get sucked into any situation like that. There's no logic in emotion. Is that what we say? Women are governed by their emotion, men are governed by logic. I mean, some of us say that at least. Yeah, okay. Brothers, we can't allow our emotion to govern our logic. Yes, we have to keep that separate. Brothers, in order to reconcile with other people, you're going to have to overcome your emotion. Your emotion will stop you, won't it? Why? Because you are the most important thing to you. Are we not? Don't our feelings matter more than anyone else's? Is that how we live? Is that why we live? For ourselves? Alright, brothers. Hey, look. You can no longer be the most important thing to you anymore. You can't. You're going to have to sacrifice something. What's it going to be? You're going to live or die. Alright. So we take these two people with us so that they can hear this exchange. Yeah. So that they, with a sound mind, can understand the situation and maybe help us to reconcile this individual. Yes. Now, here's where the pride comes in. If that individual still yet refuses to reconcile, there's only going to be one reason why. Why? Pride. Pride. Okay, now we take it before the church. You know, and this is the one that kills most people. You know, because up to now, it's pretty logical to do it this way, isn't it? Whether it's a family member, whether it's a spouse, a relative, a friend, whatever. This is a pretty logical way of doing this, isn't it? Yeah, okay. But the reason why we take them to the church, this body, this congregation of believers, yes, is for a witness. Brothers, because listen, there's going to come a day. Now remember, when we agree with the adversary quickly, whilst we are in the way with him, lest he take us to the judge, yes, because there's going to come a day. There's going to come a day, brothers, when every single one of us is going to be standing before a judge all at once. And his name is Jesus Christ. Now, whether you know this or not, accept this or not, or understand or believe this or not, brothers, each and every one of you are in the body of Jesus Christ. He died for all of you. Not just you, but this whole entire world. Every single person that has ever took a breath since he died on the cross are in his body. And guess what? His body shall not be divided. Why? Because a house divided cannot stand. A nation divided will fall. And brothers, Jesus Christ is not divided. Yes. So that you and this individual or individuals standing before the judge are divided. Why? Because you refused to reconcile. You have now brought this matter before the judge. What's he going to judge you on? Is he going to judge on he said, she said? No. That don't matter. That's not what he's going to judge you on. What's he going to judge you on? Whether you did what he said. That's what you're going to be judged on. Whether you did what he said. What I'm telling you today. Brothers, it don't matter who did what. That don't matter. It don't matter if you've been wronged. And it don't matter if you wronged other people. That's not what matters. What matters is, did you do what Jesus said? Because if you did what Jesus said, then it won't matter who was right or wrong. Yeah. Not in this world. Notice how, firstly, we agreed with our adversary. Yeah. He's our adversary. Yeah. He wronged us. And yet, Jesus is telling us to be with that guy. Furthermore, we sought out those individuals who wronged us. But more than that, those whom we wronged, to reconcile with them. Why? Because our King is commanding it of us. It's just that simple for us. And the day that we stand before him, this is what he's going to judge us on. I mean, think about it. He's not going to judge us on sin. Who do you think is going to make it in the kingdom of heaven if all we're getting judged on is sin? Which one of you is without sin? Which one of us is without sin? Who's going to get in because they are without sin? That's not what he's going to judge us on, brothers. The judgment is going to be, who did what I said? Who loved me? Yeah, alright. And he's telling us that those who love him also love their neighbors. This is the reason why the whole entire law hangs on these 2 commandments. But it's not easy. I'll tell you now. It's the hardest thing I ever did. You know, I thought throwing the needle down was hard until I put this into practice. I thought putting my flesh to death was the hardest thing I could ever have to do because it dominated my life for so long. But it was nothing. It wasn't nothing. The battle that you're raging right now with your bodies, these addictions, is nothing compared to this. I'm just saying, it's not easy. We've been brought up to believe what we feel matters the most. Yeah, alright. Your pain matters. That's, you know, people are self-righteous, aren't they? You ever seen those folks go to church? Next thing you know, they're better than everybody else. They never did no wrong. Yeah, I'm just saying, I've seen lots of folks like that. I'm not hating it, but it is true. Yeah, alright. Guess what? That's not self-righteousness. No. Self-righteousness is when you matter to you more than anyone else. There's only one thing that you're righteous in, brothers, and it ain't your actions. It's never been. That which one of us is without sin? Okay, that's not our righteousness, is it? No. Your pain is your righteousness. Your pain is your righteousness. Who can tell you that you're wrong for experiencing pain? Somebody said something to you, somebody done something to you, and it hurt. Who can tell you you're wrong for that? Alright. Therein lay your righteousness. Brothers, and this is the righteousness that you must sacrifice. If the body is the temple, that's what Paul says. The body is the temple, right? Yeah? That's the reason why we eat healthy and we stop doing drugs and we stop drinking all these things. The body's the temple, right? Okay, yeah. Well, I put to you that if the body is the temple, then the heart is the altar upon which the sacrifices are made in that temple. It's got to happen, brothers. It's got to happen. Absolutely has to happen. And what I'm telling you is if you have this love that I've been shouting for weeks, if you have this faith that I've been shouting for weeks, if you have this desire that I have been shouting for weeks, then you will be able to do this. You must. You must. Absolutely. And I know, hey, listen, man, I've lived out here on these streets. I've lived on streets in Ohio. I've lived on streets in North Carolina. I've lived on streets in Tennessee. I've lived on streets in Florida. I've lived on streets in Virginia. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And I know how this goes against everything that we would learn on the street. Yeah. Doesn't it though? Especially in prison. Oh my God. Alright. Don't make it wrong. Brothers, listen. The ways of God are foolishness to this world. And the ways of this world are foolishness to God. My question is where is it you're trying to live? Where do you want to end up? Yeah? You know, when you were growing up, they told you that if you did these things, if you kept doing these things, you were going to end up in prison. That's what they told me. Alright, yeah. Guess where I ended up? Alright. Well, what I'm telling you today is if you don't do these things, guess where you're going to end up? Alright. You know, there's a few things that we can do that will help us to reconcile with our neighbors in this manner. Yeah. There's a few things that we can do, man. Listen, Matthew 7:12-14. Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets. Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereby. But because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Golden rule. Treat others as you would wish to be treated. You know what I'm going to tell you something? You're going to have a lot less trouble out of people hurting you. You're going to have a lot less need to reconcile with other people if you treat other people the way that you want to be treated. What do you think about that? You certainly will. Yeah? Hey, look, guys, there's always going to be those kind of people out there. Yeah? Probably even going to want to try to take advantage of you because they're going to see you as soft. Yeah, alright, I'm just saying, it is what it is, ain't it? But what I got to ask you is what's soft? Accepting the pressures of this world and doing what they would have you to do, or standing tall by yourself for God and doing what He is telling you to do? Which one is soft and which one is strong? Yeah, let me tell you something. As a man who's done both, it takes 10 times more strength to stand up for the Lord than it does in this world. Yeah, it takes 10 times more strength to get slapped in the face and walk away than it does to punch somebody back. I'm just saying, as a man who's done both, I can tell you that. Yeah, alright. Yeah, 10 times more, brothers. Alright. Treat other people as you would wish to be treated, and you will find that you will need to do this. You will need to swallow your pride less and less. It will certainly make it very, very, very easy. A whole lot easier at the very least. Yeah? Alright. You know, these commandments that God has given to us, we must study them. Right? Because once we see what God is telling us not to do to other people, now we know how we really want to be treated because we understand what love really is. And so that we know how to treat other people. You know, let me ask you a question. Seeing as how God made us in His image, God knows what makes Him feel a certain way, and He tells us not to do these things because He knows if we do these things to other people, it's going to cause pain. What do you think about that? Again, a less need to have to reconcile with people. I'm just saying, alright, brothers. Yeah. And the reason why He says that this gate, entering into salvation, is a hard gate to enter, and the path is narrow, and only a few are going to find this. Why? Why are many going to be on the wide path to destruction, but only a few on the narrow path to salvation? This is hard, brothers. This is going to be the hardest thing that you've ever done. And not very many people will end up doing it. Not many people want to do it. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why. Yes. Alright. Alright, man. Listen. Matthew 7, 1-5. Judge not that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye use, ye shall be judged with. And what measure ye meet, shall it be measured to you again. You know, a lot of people take this scripture out of context. Yeah. When they say, judge not lest you be judged, they say, well, you can't tell me I'm doing wrong. You can't judge me. Brothers, that's not judgment. You understand what I'm saying? Let me tell you now, that's not judgment. Yeah? What is judgment? Carrying out sentence. That's judgment. Yeah? Alerting someone to their wrongdoing is not judgment. That's what they're doing, isn't it? If God says don't do this thing, and this person is doing this thing that God says not to do, then telling them that they're doing that is not judging it, is it? No. How about this? How about this? How about if God said to stone somebody that does this thing, and you see this person do this thing, and you pick up stones until you kill them, is that judgment? Alright, yeah, how about that? Okay. What's the difference, brother? It takes love, as a matter of fact, to tell somebody the truth. It takes love. You tell somebody that they're wrong because you love them. And if you're not telling them that they're wrong because you love them, then you're going to have problems. Yeah, you're going to have problems. Listen, guys. We don't just want to enter in by ourselves, do we? How many of you want to go to heaven by yourself? Aren't there at least some people around you that you would like to see on that day? Yeah? Okay. How are you going to lead them there if you can't tell them what they're doing wrong? Alright, brothers. Alright. Now, before we go around and start telling people what they're doing wrong, what we must first do? beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but consider not the beam that is in thy own eye. Well, how would I say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote of that eye, and behold, the beam is in your own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam of your own eye, and then thou shalt see clearly to cast out the mote of thy brother's eye. Yeah? Folks, listen. What good is it going to do you to go around telling everybody what it is that they can't do while you're doing it? Where's your credibility? Okay, all right, man. Who's going to listen to you? Who's going to believe you? All right. All you're going to do is tick people off. They're not going to hear you. Yeah, they're not going to hear you. How many of y'all think I do the things that I come down here and tell you to do? On show of hands. How many of y'all think I live this way? Yeah. All right, brothers. I'm just saying. Credibility, at least. Yep. All right. But how about love? What's that love mean to this? Yeah. All right. All right. Don't go around telling people what's wrong, brothers, unless you overcame it. Yeah. You know, seems to be a big problem with some of these fine institutions. You know, that guy that stands up before everybody, he don't want to preach the same thing over and over and over. Yeah. So he starts talking about a whole lot of other stuff that he really don't have no understanding of. Yeah. And the next thing you know, he's tripping over his own messages. Yeah. He's not practicing what he's been preaching. Just saying. But my advice to you is to preach what it is you practice. Yeah? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Because it's something you practice. It's not something that you're going to have to look over your shoulder of and worry about whether you're a hypocrite or not. And people will see the faith that you possess as you do this thing you're telling them not to do. Okay, man. Alright. Alright. Matthew 6:14 through 15. For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if ye forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. There you go. If you got any problems whatsoever with this reconciliation process with anybody around you, just know this. If you don't forgive somebody for something, anything, then you yourself shall not be forgiven. What's number one cause for divorce in the world today? Lack of forgiveness, isn't it? Isn't that what it is? Don't two people separate because they cannot reconcile? Is that what they call it? Irreconcilable differences? Yes. No forgiveness. No forgiveness. That's what it is. But this is the thing that's stopping any of us and all of us from reconciling. Lack of forgiveness. And what I'm telling you today, excuse me, I'm not telling you. What Jesus is telling you today is that if you can't forgive someone, then you yourself shall not be forgiven. And brothers, who knows? Who knows what forgiveness God will withhold from you? Because the reason you're withholding forgiveness is what you feel. Because of how you feel is why you refuse to forgive another person for what they've done against you. I hope God don't do me that way. Because I know I have hurt him many times. Many times. Alright, brothers. Man, hey, so there should be no problem with this reconciliation process. None whatsoever. If you desire to be forgiven by God. Yeah, okay. Okay, brothers. Hey, whatever I said today, if it got complicated somewhere, let this clarify it. Let this make it real simple. If you don't forgive, you ain't going to be forgiven. And it's going to take forgiveness to reconcile anybody that's wronged you. Yeah? And don't wait for that person to seek you out. You, as one who loves Christ, you, as one who knows Christ, you, as one who knows this truth, you go seek them out. Yeah? Whether they've wronged you or you've wronged them. Because now you understand that what you're going to be judged on is not who was right or wrong, not who did what to who, but who did what Jesus said. Alright. Last scripture. John 13, 34 through 35. I give this one before too. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one toward another. Brothers, I want you to know right now, and I'll help back from it for a time, but I think we're getting ready to start looking at this, which is your ministry. Yeah, your work for God. Hey, look, listen, you need to be saved. You need to take these steps of salvation that I have been hopping up and down about. Yeah. But you must also bring other people into this salvation. You must have fruit. Yeah, alright. Alright. Other people must first see that you are actually a disciple of Christ. That you're not just talking crap. That what you're saying is the truth. And they're not going to know that if you're not living that, are they? First in the pudding. Kind of goes back to getting that eye cleaned out. I'm just saying. Yeah, alright. Alright. By this shall all men know you are my disciples. Brothers and sisters. When somebody who's standing back here, somebody that you're not even looking at, is watching you do this thing that nobody else in this world would do. When they see you doing that, what are they going to know in that moment? That you're not of this world. At the very least, yeah, they're going to know that you are of Christ first. They're going to know that you are His disciple. And who knows what they might seek you out for. Who knows what they might need to hear from you. Yeah? Alright. Alright, brothers. It is your responsibility. And if you didn't know that, today you do. Yeah? We must be reconciled with those people around us, brothers. Because if you refuse to reconcile with someone for any reason, then Jesus Christ will judge between you and him on Judgment Day. And these list of things, these are not the only things, but these things that I brought to you today are kind of like deal breakers. You choose not to keep either one of these things, and you're not going to make it. But every one of these things is a reason for you to overcome yourself to be able to do this. Whether you're seeking forgiveness from God, or whether you got this love or don't have this love. Yeah, I'm just saying. Alright. This is the reason, brothers. Don't walk away here today, brothers, with this pride in your heart. Walk away today softened. Walk away today making a mental list of the people in your mind whom you need to make things right with. Walk away today with a list of people in your mind who have wronged you, that might be suffering because they wronged you, that might need this gratification from having wronged you, knowing that you forgive them. Hey, it's not all about you, brothers. Yeah, just saying. Yeah, walk away today doing that, and get that in. Get started on it, and hope and pray that there's enough time left for you to reconcile with these people. Yeah, all right, all right. At least make the trip. At least make the opportunity. Make the attempt. Make the attempt. You understand what I'm saying? Alright. Alright. Brothers, I love you. I try to use my telephone voice today. Because this is a very important lesson. You know? Yeah, alright. I'm just saying. It's one of the most important things that I can tell you down here. You know? Alright? It's absolutely got to happen. Absolutely. Yeah. Alright. Those of you guys that, want to be prayed for, any of you guys that are already baptized, who are now ready to commit yourself, and any of you guys that need to be baptized, just let me know. It's still kind of warm. Yeah? Alright, just saying. Yeah? It's close. Father, we give thanks for this understanding, Lord. Father, we pray that you strengthen us to do these things, Father. As difficult as they may be to overcome ourselves, Father, help us and strengthen us, Lord. Father, we give thanks for the forgiveness that you have offered to us, Lord. Lord, we pray that you would give us that opportunity to go to those individuals that we need to reconcile with, Lord. Despite who's right or wrong, Father, let us do what you say. Let us do what Christ says, Lord. Let us be forgiven, Father. Lord, we thank you for this great love. We thank you for this opportunity, Lord, for we know that we're not always through here. Again, Father, we just thank you for this meeting. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I got guys, you got socks and sack lunches, but I'm going to set some hoodies out over here on this table. Please, you know, if you got one, if you don't need one, if you're not outside, let those people who are get one.